What's up, guys? It's Dr. Steve, master of the subconscious mind and doctor who fixes 100% of orthopedic issues not related to cancer, fracture, or infection. And in today's society, you see all these people. It's team no sleep. It's work hard, play hard. And they have all these phrases about pushing hard and working hard to achieve success. And that's what it takes when you live in the 3D world, is that internal drive and force. But force creates you to burn out. And what happens is when you're only focused on that one thing, everything else in your life suffers, right? There's a balance in life. If you're only focused on working hard, so you can do these things, you end up working so hard you're a slave to the things. And so your life is out of balance and relationships suffer, and it's you can't have it's equal, ebb and flow, right? So the way to be at is, and I say this, is when you want to have something, it's about manifestation and being unattached to the outcomes, to allow, because trust is love. So when you allow that belief, that internal belief, knowing, and step into your mission work, knowing what that is, knowing who you are, what happens is you open up that heart chakra, which gives you the divine guidance, right? It gives you the intuition, right? And so now you go out in the public and you speak your truth of who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, and your soul tribe comes in and assists you with the abundance of the finances, assists you with the abundance of love in your life, because you love yourself enough to stand in your truth and you radiate that outwards. And it's a different energy of not despair and force, right? And people know when you're trying to force something. They can tell that you're desperate, and that desperate energy, creates you to force more and more and more, and it creates more havoc in your life, and it draws in lawsuits, and it draws in karmic partners, and it creates all these situations. When you just sit back and relax and you're a magnet and let things come to you and flow, it's a different energy. And it's a balance, right? I mean, you have masculine energy, which is the energy of forcing everything. You have the feminine energy, which is sitting back and just letting things happen. And so we're going to have a somewhere balance in between the two of the masculine and feminine energies, where we're actually opening our heart, stepping into mission work, right? Your sacred truths, and what you're here to do, and how you're here to raise the consciousness of the planet, because you are just a spiritual being having a human experience, and that's all it is. And so when you become unattached to the outcomes with their finances and net worth and the worldly desires, the pleasures in life, when you become detached from that, that's when the actual things happen, right? It's when you least expect it, right? You always hear people say, well, I gave up, and then all of a sudden, once I gave up and I just surrendered, it happened for me. And that's the space you have to be in, because it's that force and having a need and wanting to prove yourself to somebody else, or prove to yourself that you have value through external validation, through money, sex, drugs, escapism, parties, vacations, whatever it is. Those are the things, those validation things that people are doing, and most of those things are just a distraction from internally they're suffering. So there's a balance there, and so we want to balance those masculine and feminine energies, and that's where we want to be at, is not forcing life. It's not work hard, play hard. It's not, if you're belief, it's all belief systems. It's all over your mind perceives. And if you perceive life to be difficult, and that you have to work hard to get ahead, or you have to drive yourself crazy and lose sleep and all these other things to achieve success, and that's what it is for you, right? But there's easier ways to make money. Right. There just is. It doesn't have to be difficult. So you just have to look from within and open your heart and know and trust, right? If you just trust that this is what you're supposed to do, and everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing for the most part, they just shut it off, and they don't do it out of reasons of fear, or that fear of failure basically is what it is. Where the reality is you're probably just more fear of what if you succeed and lose it, right? And so if you step into your mission work and there is something that doesn't go as planned, just have to take that as guidance. It's just putting you on the path and bringing you to where you're supposed to be at. And when that happens, eventually you end up in the right spot of where you're supposed to be at.